It is day one of the ministerial screening for nominees sent to the Senate by President Bola Tinubu. One after the other, the nominees were ushered into the Senate chamber by the Sergeant at Arms. Out of the 14 screened nominees, 4 of them are women, including the youngest nominee, Betta Edu, who at just 36 years has accomplished so much as the national women leader of the ruling party. The same was said of the other female nominees screened.
We must get the right governance and the right structure from the top all the way down to the health facilities. Who are those manning it? Who are the managers? Who are the planners? Is it properly planned? And what are those adjustments and streamlining that needs to happen? Like a distinguished senator rightly said, there are federal medical centers everywhere. There are teaching hospitals everywhere. How functional are they? What quality of service can they offer? As it concerns the health workers that are leaving, a couple of things can be done. Number one, we can change the payment structure for health workers to see that they get better incentives and they can stay on. They are leaving because probably a country like Saudi Arabia promises a greener pasture, and that's why they're leaving.
I am going to introduce what they call urban centers. I will bring in machineries, industrial machines. Then I will get with the town criers to get to these villages. We are going to get them to learn those tradings, different kinds of trading. And we have an outlet because it's a professional that will come in to teach them. And as they're being taught, they're equally working to produce these things like female clothes, babies' clothes in our own material.
At the end of my stay at NAPTIP, we were able to prosecute over 300 cases. The most significant one, or the most celebrated one, was was that of one madam in the UK, because it was in collaboration with the British government. She was prosecuted from the UK. The crime she committed was in Germany, and her assets are still undergoing confiscation. And she was being caught in Edo State, partnering with the Interpol and other relevant agencies.
The nominee from Taraba State, Mohammed Nladi, had the toughest session after petitions against him alleging that the Supreme Court had barred him from taking any public office in the next 10 years. His explanation was not quite convincing enough to the Senate, prompting the President of the Senate, Godswill Akpabio, to order an investigation into the matter. Meanwhile, the nominee from Benue State, Professor Joseph Utsev, was grilled on the alleged discrepancies in his biodata.
There was a Supreme Court decision that tended to debar him from holding office for a couple of years. So maybe he can comment on that and just take a bow.
There was no any Supreme Court pronouncement banning me for 10 years in the judgment. It's just speculations of my enemies. If you look at the judgments, my judgments are here with you, before you, sir. There is no any judgment indicting me that I should not contest for election.
You graduated in 2004, meaning that, you probably will have spent almost 9 years for your first degree. I just need you to clarify those data. I hope you understand, starting from primary school to why it took you that long to also get your first degree, despite the academic brilliance that you have exhibited.
1990, 1991, 92, 93, 94, 95. That is when I got my SSCE. That's when I got my SSCE. Then I graduated in 2004. Yes, what happens that I was actually supposed to pass out in 2003. But there was a prolonged strike, if people remember. There was a prolonged strike by ASU. Then I did a 5-year program in engineering, which I was supposed to stay there for 5 years. But because of the prolonged strike, I spent 6 years for the program. That is why I graduated in 2004.
The usual take a bow, which has become a tradition for former lawmakers, featured prominently and was also extended to former governors. The likes of the acting national chairman of the All Progressives Congress, Senator Abubakar Kyari, Senator John Eno, Honorable Nkiruka Yejocha, including the former governor of Rivers State, Yesun Wike, and former Jigawa State Governor, Abubakar Badaru, were all asked to take a bow without much drilling from the lawmakers.
while I was leaving 27th of May, Mr. Senate President, I was commissioning, I was flagging off a project. These things can be achieved if you are committed, if you have passion for the job. And I thank Mr. President for nominating me. I believe, knowing how hungry Mr. President is to solving the problems of Nigeria, we have no choice but to give him that required support. And I can assure you, if I'm confirmed, in whatever capacity, Mr. President will not regret nominating me.
Most of the ministerial nominees talked on issues such as nation building, energy security, improving the healthcare sector, revamping the education sector, water security, and fighting insecurity in Nigeria. Well, at the end of session today, 14 nominees were screened at the Senate chambers. They all responded to questions from the lawmakers on varying issues of national importance. The screening session continues tomorrow, Tuesday, by 11 a.m. Georgina Ndukwezaika, Arise News.